I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and part 2 of the Motorola DROID RAZR M full review starts in just a second. But first, special thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with phones like this for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game, which we turn around and give to you on the site. When you go into Best Buy Mobile to get your new toy or business tool, depending on what you want to call it, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, your contacts, settings, camera settings, browser, all of that good stuff. So when you walk out the door, you don't have to waste time setting it up in the car or at home that night. You can go out and see that fun movie because at Best Buy Mobile, they've hooked you up and you're walking out working. Let's take a look. Part 2 of the RAZR M. At 99 bucks, is it the best device in the market right now? We'll find out in the review, which starts right now. Part 2 of a review video of the Motorola RAZR M, or also known as the Motorola DROID RAZR M, a device which I am considering to be one of the best devices on the market right now at the best price point. At least it's on the market right now. It's coming out on September 13th for $99.99 at Verizon Wireless retail stores, online at VerizonWireless.com, and through third-party retailers like Amazon and Wirefly. But you know, we're seeing a lot of these devices come out at the $99.99 price point. The Atrix HD, the HTC One X recently dropped to $99.99 as well. And it's a new price point for a couple of reasons, like I said in part 1. One, it's quarter 4. The holiday season is right upon us, and they're trying to come up with a new tier to get those people in for 2-year agreements. Yeah, because that's what they want, 2 years of people locked in. So you're seeing more and more devices come out at $99.99. But what's been particularly interesting to me, especially over the years of covering this kind of stuff as part of my job, or various jobs that I've had in wireless over 9 years, the price point is impressive, but that said, the devices are equally impressive. For 100 bucks, this is a nice device. For under 100 bucks that I recommend to my mom, my grandmother, my brother. And you know, oftentimes they'll ask me, Aaron, is that a device you would carry? And several times over the past couple of years with a 99 price point or 49 price point, I've been like, no, it's not really a device I would carry, but it's still a good device, but I'm more of a power user. This is a device that I would carry. The specs are good. It's got a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 CPU, a 4.3-inch display, and yeah, while it's not an HD display, still a very nice device, and particularly the design, very impressive design with a 2,000 milliamp hour non-removable battery and Android 4.0 with a pretty nice version of Motorola's UI that's very similar to stock Android. So without further ado, let's jump in to Quadrant Standard because I want to see how this device performs in comparison to other Snapdragon S4 devices on the market. While that's running, we'll talk a little bit about call quality and battery life. I've been very impressed with both. This is packing a 2,000 milliamp hour battery, so it's kind of in between, or I wouldn't say really in between, but similar to the DROID RAZR, and then a little bit further off from the DROID RAZR Max, but still you get a little bit of a bigger battery. I think 2,000 is kind of a minimum point now for Android devices. You see, you know, the RAZR came out with a 1,780 milliamp hour battery. This brings it up to 2,000, and it's non-removable. So, especially with non-removable devices, I think 2,000 is a good benchmark to stay around. 2,000 plus, and of course the DROID RAZR Max HD, which was announced, but isn't releasing until later in the year on Verizon Wireless, has that 3,300 milliamp hour battery we've come to love on the DROID RAZR Max. That said, like I said, 2,000 milliamp hours, pretty good to get you through the day. With moderate use, I'm getting about 12 to 14 hours on this device, and the standby times are pretty impressive as well. So 2,000 milliamp hours, keep it there. I'm trying to tell HTC this as well. Don't go below 2,000 milliamp hours. It's needed for a device in today's world with the type of stuff that we do on our mobile devices. And also I wanted to point out while I'm thinking about it, notification light is up there in the top left-hand corner. So Quadrant Standard has ran 4,853, so very impressive scores there for a device, again, that's under 100 bucks. Let's go into speed test as well. Verizon promises download speeds between 5 and 12 megabits per second and upload speeds between 2 and 5 megabits per second. That said, depending on what market you're in, you may get more than that, and the rare occasion that the network's a little bit saturated or the cell site that you're pinging off of is a little bit saturated, you may drop slightly below that. I will say historically my office has been kind of a challenge spot for Verizon because I'm right in the middle of the building, so it'll be interesting to see now post DNC, Democratic National Convention was 2 blocks from my office and I was traveling for work. Let's see if it's improved, and it definitely has. I was getting like 2 megabits per second before I left. Now I'm getting what I would consider to be normal LTE speeds in my office. 19 megabits per second there on the download, about 10 megabits per second on the upload. And you can see just some results of stuff that I've ran this morning. 21 megabits per second. That one was a little bit slow, but roughly, 12, 16, 21, those are all numbers that I would expect from Verizon's 4G LTE network, which is particularly impressive considering the fact that it's been out since December of 2010, and out of all the LTE networks, it's the most saturated in the nation. So That's certainly a good thing. We'll load up camera here as well, and I promised I'd talk about call quality, so I want to talk a little bit about that. Call quality's been fantastic on this. Motorola does a great job with wireless radios. If you're in a Verizon fringe area, you get 0 to 1 bars of service. I always recommend Motorola devices to people because when it comes to the wireless radio, they've got a lock on that market. They do a fantastic job, and it's been very impressive across the board. I took it to Verizon Dead Spot in Northeast Charlotte over the weekend and was able to make and receive a call, despite the fact that when I was on the call, it was a little bit choppy and it cut out periodically. I'd say every 20 to 30 seconds. It would the choppiness was a little bit frustrating. That said, it made it through and has done much better than other Verizon devices I've worked with that aren't Motorola. So wireless radio-wise, if you're in an area, a fringe area, I'd highly recommend this. Though it does frustrate me that on Verizon's current devices, they're bringing over the cell signal based on LTE. So when you look at the bars of service, you're really seeing LTE bars of service. You're not seeing CDMA bars of service. That's great when voice over LTE rolls out later in the year, early next year. Not so good right now because when I look at it and see 1 bar of service, that's really LTE at 1 bar of service and not CDMA, which at least right now is what I'm using for my calls. So we'll go ahead and focus in on this. Let's see what we can do here with a picture of the Galaxy Nexus. 8 megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording, and you can see there, relatively decent camera. And in comparison to the One X and the Galaxy S3 and the features both of those devices have, it doesn't hold a candle. But again, it's $100 cheaper unless you're doing the One X on AT&T, which is $99.99 right now. So if you're a camera buff, I'd highly recommend the One X on AT&T if you're okay with switching carriers. Its camera is fantastic with the image sense capabilities. That said, nothing bad here. And of course, you can change things around. You can change your effects, you can change scenes. And so I can go over here to, let's say, we'll make it a landscape. And then we'll come in here and see what we can do. Let's see if I can get that to focus in properly. Let's actually go back to auto and let's see. Do another one here so we can see Google logo and of course the textured back cover. Not bad by any means, but I've definitely seen better. But again, keeping in mind the price point, it's not bad at all. So let's go over to YouTube and take a look here at a video just really quickly because I want to show you another frustration about some Motorola devices. The on-screen buttons, you've got back, home, and then of course recent applications here where you can scroll through and get rid of those recent applications by swiping in typical traditional ice cream sandwich format. Home, recent applications, back do go away in this version when you do click on a YouTube video, so you do get the value the screen real estate when you're in YouTube. And I'll show you this, for example. Let's just do Epic Mealtime, for example. And when I go over to landscape mode, you can see the buttons do go away. And then when I hit pause, they come back. So you do, are able to maximize the screen real estate on the device. You get the full 4.3 inches when you're watching movies. So all in all, really impressed with this device. You can see your notifications bar here as well. Quadrant standard, smart actions. This is a feature I'm really impressed with as well because you know me, I'm very passionately against text messaging while driving, so I can go in here and go to smart actions. Let's do this a little bit differently. Let's go in here to smart actions. I don't want to customize anything just yet. Oh, it's giving me a preview video. So you can see smart actions. And like it says, simplifies your life by automating the things you do every day. So I'm going to get started and go through all of this. And here we go. Drive Smart is one of my favorites because I can come in here and say, triggers, I can launch a vehicle mode, I can turn the ringer volume up, and I can auto-reply with a text message. So when somebody calls me, somebody text messages me, I can auto-reply and say, hey, I'm driving, I'll get back to you when I reach my destination. But you can do this not just with driving, which is my personal favorite, but you can do charging reminders, meeting rules. So when you're in a meeting or when you get into a particular area, it'll silence your phone. These are really cool features, and not only do they help you with your phone stuff, but they can also save on battery life as well. This is something they rolled out with the DROID RAZR, if you recall, and that was because of non-removable battery. They wanted to get you through the full day, so you have charging reminders and battery savers. And since then, they've kind of expanded the program out to include Drive Smart and more. So all in all, it's a very impressive program, and it's something that's exclusive, at least right now, to Motorola. So it's a great device, at least at the $100 price point. It's one of the best. It would be a very tough battle between this and the HTC One X on AT&T, which has recently been reduced to $99.99. Are we going to dogfight those? Of course we are. You know me pretty well, guys. Of course I'm going to dogfight those two because those are two high-end devices, or what I would consider to be high-end devices, on two respective carriers at the same price point. That said, if you're on Verizon, you're looking for a good device this holiday season for yourself, for family, for friends, for whoever. If you're friends, that's a pretty generous $100 gift, and I want to be your friend too. But that aside, a very impressive device with good specs and really a killer build quality, and I'm loving the edge-to-edge display. It's definitely warmed up to me. When I first looked at it, I was like, hey, another Motorola device on Verizon, they all kind of look the same. At least the Razr form factor kind of looks the same. But after playing with this one, working with it for a couple of days, using it over the weekend, it's really impressive to see the edge-to-edge display. It's a device I'd strongly recommend to anybody, and it's something I would carry as well. I miss the HD display, but it's very impressive in the speed department and in the looks department. Much more coverage to come on PhoneDog.com. Keep it locked on the site for more on the Motorola DROID RAZR M on the site. Be sure to like us on Facebook as well. Do you want to win a smartphone? I want to win a smartphone, but I can't because I work for the company. That said, head over to Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Enter the greatest tech giveaway ever, too, for your chance to win a Samsung Galaxy Note, a Samsung Galaxy S3, an HTC One X, or an LG Optimus 4X HD. Brought to you by Negri Electronics, which can be found on Twitter at Negri Electronic. Special thanks to them for helping us out with the giveaway, giving us some good deals, and helping you win a free smartphone. Go over there and check that out. Be sure to follow me on Twitter as well, PhoneDog_Aaron. Let me know what you think of this device. If you love it, you hate it, you're waiting maybe for the Max HD, let me know. PhoneDog_Aaron on Twitter, Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog, or my personal page at PhoneDogAB. Thanks so much for watching. Keep it locked. More dogfights to come with this hot little sub $100 device on PhoneDog.com. We'll see you next time.